Hello, my name is Bailey Wright. I work as the District 1 4-H program specialist, and today we are going to do an overview and updates on the food challenge contest as it pertains to District 1. So this is very specific to our District 1 4-H food challenge contest in 2020. So I'm really excited. I'll go ahead and preface it with, in years past, we ran all age groups pretty similarly. This year, that's not the case. We try and stick the seniors as close as we can to the state food challenge guidelines, just so those teams that we qualify will be well prepared to compete at a high level at the state contest. So the state did implement just a couple small changes, nothing as big as the last year's changes for the seniors. So I'll discuss those in the second half of this video. In the first half, I'm going to focus on discussing the changes and just kind of the model we're going to use to run the junior and intermediate contest. It's fairly different from last year, and I just wanted to clue y'all in on our thought process there. We are not wanting to make big contest changes every year. That's not our goal. We know that makes it hard to train volunteers, to get kids bought into the contest, to buy supplies and all sorts of other factors. So that's not our goal. But I will tell you, our goal is to make sure we are running contests that are age and skill level appropriate. We want to make sure we're running contests that are fun and enjoyable for the youth, but still running contests that teach skills, develop growth, and learning opportunities for those youth. And so we just got together and reevaluated on juniors and intermediates, and we've changed it up. It doesn't follow state guidelines. If you've been doing food challenge for a while, we're going back to more of a model like we've done a couple years ago and prior to that. So that's what I'll really discuss in this training, and then give some updates on the seniors the second half of the training. I do want to point out, I'm not going in depth on any specific area. If you're looking for a more in-depth food challenge training, I have 3 other videos. One is called Educational Objectives of Food Challenge. It's really, what are we trying to teach our kids so that they learn those pertinent skills, but also so that they can be competitive at the contest. So I talk about those objectives and how we can do those through some different activities and lessons. The second video is called Preparation Strategies. It kind of gives you, if I were a coach, what I would do in terms of coaching my team to prepare the dish, and some strategies there. The next one, the third video, is Presentation Strategies, in terms of presenting your dish and your speaking abilities in the speaking portion of the contest, how I would go about that. So if you're looking for some more in-depth videos, definitely check out those 3. This is just going to be an overview for changes and rules for 2020 contest. So I'm going to dive right in, again, starting with our juniors and intermediates. Keeping it pretty basic, it's still 4 youth per team. A change this year that pertains more to our county agents would be, we're going to allow 4 junior teams and 4 intermediate teams from each county to come to the district contest. So we're growing our contest. That's exciting. We want to get more youth involved. So 4 and 4, some counties that might not really affect, some that may mean you're having a county contest to qualify 4 teams from each age group. Here's where the changes really come in and compared to last year. Instead of giving just one key ingredient and making you go buy a bunch of ingredients from our grocery store at the contest, we're going to give you 3 to 5 ingredients in your bag. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So you'll have a piece of paper in your bag when you turn around at contest time, and at the top it'll tell you what category you're in, appetizer, for example, and you know that you need to make a dish that fits that category. So you need to make an appetizer. And then this is a list of the ingredients that we give you in your bag, and exactly how much, what amount of that ingredient we've given you. So for example, 1 tomato, half a purple onion, a cup of grated cheese, 12 tortilla chips, and 1 lemon is what we would give in this example. And let me tell you, you don't have to use all of every ingredient we gave you. So you don't have to use the whole tomato. You don't have to use exactly 12 tortilla chips. You might use half the tomato. You might use 7 tortilla chips instead of 12, but you do have to use a little bit of everything. So you can't leave out the onion just because you don't like onions. If we gave it to you, you have to use at least a little bit of it. That gets a little confusing, so if I'm not making that super clear, make sure you clarify with that with your county agent, and they'll be able to tell you what I mean by that. Let's go back. So that's what'll be. A piece of paper like that will be in the bag. I would practice having a piece of paper like that when you start your practices with your teams, giving them that sort of piece of paper. And the categories have changed this year, and this is across the board, all ages, to appetizer, side dish, main dish, and healthy dessert. We don't think those are too complicated. We think those are great categories for every age group. What I will say is make sure you go through and spend some time teaching what is an appetizer, what is a side dish, what is a main dish, what is a healthy dessert. Because as in years past, if your team makes a dish that doesn't fit their category, they're going to lose a bunch of points, and that's not going to be fun. So make sure you spend some time really talking about the differences in these categories with your kids and giving some examples of each category. But we don't think those are too complicated. So again, you'll get 3 to 5 ingredients, listed out exactly how much we've given you, and then you'll have 2 tickets to be able to go to the pantry item and get 2 pantry items. And that's going to be a wide variety of things. And this is how you make your dish stand out. You don't have to use both tickets and get 2 pantry items. They don't have to include them in their dish, but I will say I would highly encourage, if I were coaching a team, that they go get 2 items and use both items in their dish, because that's how they're going to make their dish be different and stand out from their competitors that are also in their category. So I think those are really important, and talk to them about how to use their pantry items to make their dish stronger. Same as last year, 40 minutes prep time. That's from the time we tell them to turn around, look in their bag, see what category they got, see what ingredients they got, go to the pantry, get their items, prepare their dish, and clean up. Cleanup is included in that 40 minutes. So it sounds quick, but we think it seems to work. Teams always are able to get done, but they need to stay on task. And remember that cleanup is included in that 40 minutes. After we've called time, we'll move into the presentation portion of the contest, and they will have 5 minutes to present their dish. This year, we're not doing any questions. The judges will not ask questions after the team presents. So we need to make sure that that your team gets all the information that they need to present. They hit that in their 5-minute presentation. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the scorecard. And again, if you really want to see me go in depth on the presentation, make sure you check out the presentation video. The reason we're not asking questions is because I told y'all we're allowing even more teams to come to our district contest than ever before, which we're so excited about. But we have to be a little cognizant of time there. And so just to save some time, we're not going to do questions. Again, that was that example slip I showed y'all. Okay, supply box hasn't really changed too much from last year. I just want to reiterate this. You don't have to bring, we're not requiring you to bring everything that's on this list, but you certainly cannot bring something that's not on this list. So if it's not on the list, don't put it in their supply box, because we will be checking at district just to make sure everything stays fair. Just a couple things I want to point out here. Juniors are only allowed an electric skillet. They are not allowed hot plates. Therefore, since they're not bringing hot plates, they don't need a skillet with a lid. They don't need a pot with a lid. No need for those things to take up space in your box. Intermediates are allowed an electric skillet and 2 single burner hot plates or 1 double burner plate. Electric only, y'all see that there. And so intermediates will bring a skillet with a lid and a pot with a lid. Intermediates, we do highly encourage teams to bring both in your box, because if you only bring an electric skillet, what if we give you noodles to boil? That's not going to be good. You're going to be in a bad situation there. So we do encourage you to bring both. If for financial reasons, for whatever reason, you feel like your intermediate team can only bring 1 heat element, I would certainly choose the burners, either 2 single burners or 1 double burner. just because then you could put a skillet and have something cooking in a skillet and have something boiling or whatever in a pot. But I made a note of it here. We encourage y'all to bring both. I guess there's been some confusion on that in the past. And I will go ahead and hit on, we won't let you plug both in, intermediates. They do this at the state contest a lot too. You can't have your electric skillet going and your burners going. Mainly for safety issues, the tables aren't big enough for y'all to be able to run 2 heating elements safely at once, and also for electrical reasons. We can't be blowing breakers every 5 minutes. That would make for a tough contest. So at the beginning, you're going to have to choose, am I going to go with my electric skillet or am I going to go with the burners? Again, that only pertains to intermediates. Make that choice. We're not going to let you switch back and forth from skillet to burners, because then you're still going to have 2 heating elements that are hot. So make that choice from the beginning. Again, if that's confusing, talk to your agent and have them clarify for you. One more thing that I want to point out is we know Clorox wipes are tough to find right now. So we're going to allow you can make a bleach solution, a sanitizing solution. We gave you some example recipes, and you can use that in place of Clorox wipes and pair those with paper towels. That you won't be counted off points or anything like that. Then we go into our scorecards. Preparation is still pretty straightforward. Good communication amongst team members, no arguing, fighting, everyone's discussing and coming up with ideas together. Everyone plays a role. We don't want anyone standing around or one person doing everything. Obviously, safety concerns, knowledge of how to use your equipment safely, heat, utensils, knives, all of that. Personal hygiene, hair, nails, jewelry, etc. Yeah, no jewelry whatsoever. Hair should be pulled back and should have a restraint. A restraint meaning a hair net, a hat, cap, a bandana, whatever it is, something to keep your hair back. But girls, I want to make sure y'all know, just because you're wearing a cute bandana doesn't mean you should have a long braid that when you lean forward, your braid is getting in your dish and spreading germs. So make sure, I know y'all like to look cute, but make sure you truly have your hair pulled, pinned back to where it's not a safety issue. In terms of gloves, we've gotten this question a few times, and you'll find it in our guidelines. Gloves are not required if you don't want to wear gloves, but you do need to be sanitizing. Hold on, I'm finding it so I can read y'all exactly what it says, so maybe there won't be too many questions on that. Okay, here it is, word for word. These are from our guidelines that you'll find on the D1-4H website. Gloves do not have to be worn throughout the contest. However, proper hand sanitizing techniques will be required and expected throughout the contest. If the participants choose not to wear gloves, choose to wear gloves, they must be changed between handling raw meats, handling cooked items, and ready to eat or raw vegetables to prevent cross-contamination. Hand sanitizer should be used during the preparation phase of the contest to further prevent cross-contamination. So whether you're wearing gloves or not, you either need to be changing gloves to prevent cross-contamination, or you need to be sanitizing in between to prevent cross-contamination. Again, that's a discussion you can have with your county agent to see what they think is best there. But I think the preparation scorecard is pretty straightforward. The presentation scorecard maybe looks a little different than last year. We took out a couple things for our juniors and intermediates. We're not doing any cost analysis for juniors and intermediates, so really you don't need a calculator probably in your box. And then we took out the questions points as well. So it's a total of 65 points. That's maybe why your presentation scorecard looks a little different. I told you I was going to hit on this. Essentially all of this, each one of these lines, these items, is what needs to be hit on during your presentation, your speaking presentation to the judges of your dish. So I would go straight down the scorecard to really make my script for that presentation. Again, check out the presentation video and I'll show y'all some examples of that. I'm just going to look through our guidelines real quick and make sure there isn't anything I missed that I wanted to talk to y'all about. In terms of how much food do they prepare, you're not preparing a whole meal. You're preparing a whole dish. It needs to be at least 2 servings. You can't prepare just 1 serving. You can prepare 3 if you feel like you have enough ingredients, but they need to prepare at least 2 servings, but to be able to identify, hey, this is 2 servings on my plate. They need to know what a true serving for them is. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to make sure. Resources are same as last year. They will be provided at the contest. Do not bring your own resources with you. It's the My Plate mini poster, Fight Back, the foodborne bacteria brochure, Know Your Nutrients, and the food safety fact sheet. No other resources will be allowed. Those would be the resources I would practice and go over with them. Those can be found in our guidelines. I want to make sure y'all know when you're looking for resources on Food Challenge, specifically for District 1 in our contest, don't go to the state website because I've told y'all we're doing it a little different. Make sure you're going to the D1 4-H website. I have the full guidelines there, scorecard, and links to resources, so make sure that is where you're getting your information from. We are really excited for the way that we're going to run the junior and intermediate contest. We think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we think it's going to be really appropriate for their age level, but still teaching them new skills and challenging them. So we're looking forward to it. Good luck practicing with your teams. I know we always have a great, high quality set of teams that come to our district contest. So we're so excited to see what y'all come up with this year. Again, if you have questions or need clarification, make sure you're reaching out to your county extension agent and they can answer your questions or point you in the right direction. Okay, now I'm changing gears and going to the senior overview. Okay, seniors, it's not too much different from last year, so this should be pretty short and sweet. Again, 4 youth per team. We allow an unlimited amount of senior teams from each county to come to our contest. Same as last year, you're going to be given 1 key ingredient. What is new is the categories this year: appetizer, side dish, main dish, and healthy dessert. So you'll get 1 key ingredient that we expect you to make an appetizer out of, 1 key ingredient we expect you to make a side dish out of, main dish, healthy dessert. Y'all get the gist this year. Again, you'll have $5 to spend at the grocery store. So you will have a sheet like this on your table that shows you everything we have at the grocery store and how much it costs, so that you can game plan with your team how you're going to spend your $5 at the grocery store, and then send 1 member to the grocery store to get your items to go shopping for you. We'll have it color-coded by price, and the tables will match up. So we'll have a $2 table, a $1 table, and a 50-cent table. So that's how you'll game plan for your grocery store items. What is new this year is you can bring your own pantry items. I'm going to try to be really clear on what's grocery store and what's pantry, because sometimes those terms can be confusing and they mean different things for different age groups. So grocery store are the things that we're going to have for you that you can buy with the tickets that we give you. And this is your grocery store list that you'll have on your table. Pantry items, new thing this year, is what you're going to bring with you in your supply box. I'll come back to that, I promise. So as always, 40 minutes of prep time. That includes cleanup time. Y'all know the drill. 5-minute presentation where you'll cover everything that's on that presentation scorecard that we'll look at in just a minute. And then the judges will have 3 minutes to ask you questions. Okay, so here is your supply box. Pretty much the same as last year. Same gadget of the year, the spiralizer. I think they give you that for a reason. I think they want to see it used, so practice with that. To me, an easy way to use a spiralizer is in some fun garnishes. So I would practice there. I'll point out again, we know finding Clorox wipes are hard right now. So you can substitute those with, you can either bring sanitizing wipes or you can make your own solution spray, a sanitizing bleach solution spray. We gave you some examples there on the scorecard, and just use that spray with your paper towels instead of wipes. Okay, pantry items. These are things that you're going to bring in your box. Salt, pepper, oil, no more than 16 ounces, 1 jar of chicken bouillon, 1 medium onion, purple or white, whatever y'all choose, 2 14-ounce cans of vegetables and or fruit. So you can either do 2 cans of vegetables, 2 cans of fruit, 1 of each. That's the team choice. Rice, white or brown, your choice, or pasta. You can't bring rice and pasta. You've got to choose which one you're going to do. Again, no one's enforcing that you have everything on this list, so no one's going to enforce that you bring the pantry items, but these pantry items are things that we are not going to have available at the grocery store for you. So this year we're not going to have onions in the grocery store. We're not going to have oil at the grocery store or rice or pasta because we're expecting you to have it in your pantry. So my advice would be bring the pantry items because we're not going to have them available to you otherwise. So take that for what you think it's worth. But I would definitely bring all the pantry items in my box. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to point out. I don't think so. I think there's not huge changes for seniors this year other than, and I didn't point that out to y'all. Let's go back. There are new categories. Sorry, I skipped this part for y'all. I talked about it with the juniors and intermediates, but not y'all. Appetizer, side dish, main dish, healthy dessert. They're pretty straightforward. I think at the senior level, y'all should have no problem understanding those. But do know, same as last year and in all the years past, if we assign you appetizer and you make a dish that's a main dish, you're going to lose a lot of points. So research what are appetizers, what are side dishes, what are main dishes, and what are healthy desserts. Know the differences and have some ideas in your head of what you can make to fit each one of those, just to make sure there's no confusion there. Okay, scorecard, preparation, pretty straightforward, same as last year. Personal hygiene, I've talked about this. Make sure your hair is truly pulled back, not just in a cutesy. You can wear a bandana, whatever the restraint is. Can be a bandana, can be a hat, can be a hairnet. It doesn't have to be just a hairnet, but so if it's a bandana or a hat, make sure you truly have your hair pulled back so that when you're leaning over, your hair isn't over your shoulder getting in your dish. That's something we see a lot of comments on scorecards about. As far as gloves, you don't have to wear gloves. You can choose to wear gloves. If you choose not to wear gloves, sanitizer needs to be used throughout the duration of preparation to avoid cross-contamination. If you choose to wear gloves, gloves need to be changed throughout preparation to avoid cross-contamination as well. So that's a personal choice there. Okay, moving over to presentation. So everything that's listed here, every little item, is what we expect to be in your presentation. So when I was making my presentation script, I would go straight down this scorecard and make sure every single thing was included so we could get those points. And then questions will be at the end. Again, if you're wanting to see me talk more in depth on presentation and creating those scripts, make sure you watch the presentation video. Let me look through the guide for y'all seniors and make sure there was nothing else I really wanted to point out. The main change is the new categories and bringing those pantry items in your box. Again, I strongly encourage that. Other than that, okay, yep, I do want to make sure I talk about the heating element with y'all really quick. You can bring, let's go back to this. You can bring an electric skillet and either 2 single burner hot plates or a double burner hot plate. I encourage y'all to bring both of those. For whatever reason, if there's maybe your county's working on a budget this year and you feel like you can't bring both of them, whatever that reason might be, I would side with bringing the burners because then you could have a pot going and a skillet going on your double burners. But I would advise getting both the electric skillet and the burners in your box if you possibly can. But make sure you know at the district contest, and sometimes they do this at the state contest too, we're not going to allow you to alternate back and forth. So once you see your key ingredient and kind of put together your recipe and know what you're going to make, you need to decide, are we plugging in and going with our burners, or are we plugging in and going with our skillets? To avoid, we're not going to let you have both heating elements going at once because the tables aren't big enough to have 2 heating elements going at once. That's a safety issue. We're not going to let you switch back and forth, start with the skillet and then go to the burners. Again, that's a safety issue because you're going to have two heating elements that are hot, and we're working in a smaller space, and we don't want to be blowing breakers left and right. So you're going to have to choose one and stick with it. If that's confusing, talk to your county agent and they can help me clarify there. Again, you're not creating an entire meal. You're creating a recipe, one recipe for one dish. So using your key ingredient, whatever you buy from the grocery store, and some of your pantry, or however much of your pantry items that you choose to use. You're going to present however much you make. You have to make at least 2 servings. You could make 3 servings. You could make 4. You can't make just one. You have to make at least 2 servings, but you need to be able to communicate to the judges during your presentation how many servings you made and know the appropriate serving size for a kid your age. That's important. So I mean, for seniors, the real purpose is to make a recipe for one of those categories we give you. Using your key ingredient. That was pretty short and sweet for seniors. Again, if y'all are looking for more in-depth, I have a video over educational objectives, preparation strategies, and presentation strategies. Those are 3 additional videos I have. Make sure you're getting your District 1 Food Challenge information from our D1 4-H website, because we do differ from the state slightly, and I want to make sure y'all will be fully prepped for our district contest. Seniors, we cannot wait to see y'all at district. We can't wait to get some of you qualified for state and see what y'all come up with. If there's any questions, make sure you're in communication with your county extension agent. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. Hopefully you feel comfortable with all the updates and know what our game plan is for district. Thank y'all.